Morning, Ollie. What's going on with Meta?
Good
Meta
question.
of the metaverse, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, lizard person, people claim him to be. I'm not saying anything of the sort, but what's going on? Why are they in the
So
news?
one of the best memes for that guy is where he was, I believe it was a court appearance, and he had two potted plants behind him, and someone had said underneath it, and it became a big meme, "I have surrounded myself with foliage that I believe was interesting to your species," or something, or reassuring to your species.
I saw a video of him. There was a video of Mark Zuckerberg pretending to be human, and it was from his metaverse introduction video. And he went, and we'll also feel joy. Like,
God, yeah, like
it was
as
awful.
if you Googled through the GIF database joy, and it's like, oh, it's that.
Yeah. So seriously, on a more serious note, I feel they're worth talking about because they're scrambling. They've been in the news because of massive layoffs. They've been in the news because of their pivot from the metaverse to AI. And they are consistently in the news for doing something that somebody's done already. So the big news for me the other day that I saw was that Meta is going to create its own predictions market app. Prediction market being the new word for gambling. So
Not even good gambling either.
Yeah,
Just crazy gambling.
and it's like Polymarket and Kalshi. And it just got me thinking, like, regardless of your views on gambling and prediction markets, this is Meta yet again just going, right, what's popular at the moment, and we'll do that. We just do what everybody else is popular, and doing it just a bit worse, in some cases quite a lot worse than anybody else, but they're still massively profitable for other underlying business reasons. But let me just run through a quick few. You've got Facebook, which was, we've watched The Social Network, arguably stolen from other people. You've got WhatsApp and Instagram, which were acquisitions. You've got things like Threads, which was jumping on the bandwagon when Twitter was overtaken. So it's just a clone of Twitter. You've got the whole metaverse, which they bought in Oculus, and they just didn't know what to do with it because they copied, Snow Crash, the metaverse book, or blockchain. They tried to do some stuff with blockchain. It was just what was popular at the moment, and they capitalized on that, renamed their business after it. Now they're all AI, and they had a long-standing AI business. They even got rid of the people who were there and brought in the young upstarts who were popular at the time, and tried to acquire Manus, which is being stopped by the Chinese government. And now, prediction markets, they're like, oh, we'll do that. So it just feels to me, it's just such a interesting use case of no strategy, just what works. And then smart glasses, of course, as well, which people would say, oh, that's unique. But if you look at things like X-Real and other smart glasses manufacturing, Google Glass even, that's been around for a long time as well. So what do you reckon, Ollie? Am I being too harsh?
No, it reminds me a little bit of, they have this huge traditional business, don't they? Traditional, I suppose, in inverted commas, which is paying for all of this stuff and all of these forays into mad things and big acquisitions.
Ads.
I guess, well, exactly. Ads, in the UK, ads to people who are 16 and above. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is relevant, I guess, because I think all of their stabs in the dark, which is kind of what they are, badly orchestrated, reflects either an acknowledgement that we're not going to grow in our traditional business much further than we are now, or probably we're going to shrink because people are switching off of Facebook. I guess eventually they'll switch off Instagram. Every new generation that comes through does not want to be on the social media platform that their parents are on. Is effectively what happens, right? So the new kids go to TikTok because their parents are on Facebook. And I've actually heard people say as an insult to millennials, Duncan, of which both of us are in that camp, you firmly and me just skirting around the edges of it. It's like, oh, I bet you're on Facebook. And it's like a dig. It's a dig for like, you're old. Yeah, you're old. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet you've got a phone book at home.
I'm not, and I'm very proudly haven't been on Facebook for way over a decade. So
but you're too old for it. So you're like, I'm on Bebo.
Bebo and MySpace.
On MySpace.
But sorry, no,
it reminds me a bit of countries that are in a similar position, right? Which is where they have what's called the resources curse. So they have loads of oil and they're over dependent on oil or coal or something like that. And then they go through this period of rapid diversification. And in a lot of cases, it simply does not work. and I won't name any in particular. There are a few Gulf states that have done this incredibly
With
well.
sports. Like, that's why they're trying to get so into sports, right?
Construction, expat communities, finance, whatever. They diversify in all sorts of ways. Or in the case of a place like Norway, they use the proceeds to create giant sovereign wealth funds that effectively cover, I think it's 25% of the government budget. There's a joke that the easiest leader in the world to be is the Norwegian leader, because your budget's by quite a significant portion before you even have to levy taxes. But the point with that is, if you look at some of those Gulf states who have done similar things, obviously at a much bigger scale, where it's like, hey, we're going to build a giant city that's a line through the desert, not naming any names.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's been going on for 20, 30 years. Everyone wants to be part of that project.
Scrapped it, or like significantly reduced it.
Well, it was all the way through, wasn't it, to these two cities? And then it got down to, I think eventually it was like a mile. It's only going to be a mile long, lads. Don't worry about it. And now I think it has been scrapped completely, although it's not quite clear.
It's basically a shopping centre now, isn't it?
Yeah, in a really inconvenient place.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's a similar thing. It's kind of the resources curse, which is we are massive. We have all of this money. It is in an area of business that we believe will either become unsustainable because it becomes more unpopular, or we can't grow. So we're just going to have to keep trying to diversify like crazy. And you'll have more and more of these bets. The question on why Meta can't pull it off is, I guess, a leadership one.
It's a leadership,
which I think is your point.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a leadership and a strategy thing. Like, Zuckerberg's never been the most charismatic leader in the world. He's also extremely, he's just in total control of that company. So it can't pivot, change unless he's on board with it. But it's fascinating, because you would ostensibly look at Meta as an innovative company, as one that is at the forefront of innovation and change. And yet, actually, it's just a relatively fast follower in lots of situations, and not that innovative at all. All the most recent modern ways of delivering technology and ideas and innovation, Facebook would be at the forefront of, and yet it is unsuccessful. It shows me that strategy is, as ever, the most important thing. And if you have a strategy that shifts depending on what your leader thinks is interesting, or what your leader thinks everybody else is doing, then it's never going to work. You have to bed down into something, make your bets, and try and make that work. Otherwise, you'll just be bing, 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 shifting all over the place. It's like ADHD business, right?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, this is the thing that people always forget about strategy, just generally, isn't it? It's mainly what we're not going to do.
Yeah.
So your strategy is really, we're not going to do all these other things. It's really just these three things that we'll do, and we'll do them really, really well. And you're right, he's bouncing all over the place. To touch on the leadership point on something even more current, which is the morale crisis at Meta. So when we talk about what's going on in Meta, what's going on within the four walls of Meta, it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
Snacks and a hate.
Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's almost like how to annoy your workforce in a few easy steps. And the classic, of course, and I think we'll see this a lot. We've made this bet before about layoffs really being a smokescreen, but Meta is, despite everything we said, very, very profitable. It had a record-breaking quarter, and it was like, hey guys, we'll have to tighten our belts. We're gonna get rid of 10% of you, which is of course very sad for those people, although they are extremely well credentialed, and I think will do really well at somewhere else. That's the bet anyway. A lot of people are making is probably the best thing that's happened to those people. Frankly, as horrible as it is now, they'll do incredibly well elsewhere. And what often happens with companies like Meta is they'll try and hire them back.
Yeah.
That's the story. But that aside, they have described it as the biggest morale crisis. This was their chief technology officer, Boz,
Andrew Bosworth,
described
who I find just like I don't know if you've ever seen any of his things. He's a big fan of himself, is all I'll say.
Oh, he's in good company then. He should come on the podcast, Boz, me old mucker.
Tell me what Boz said.
Well, so he said it's probably up there with the company's worst eras, even comparing it to the 2018 Cambridge Analytica scandal, which I think was probably one of the worst. And the dogs agree, thank God.
Yeah.
You can hear that.
But
They're
that
it was
is a
bad.
wild thing to say, because that is totally self-inflicted. It's not like they've had it done to them. They've done it themselves completely. Both him and his leadership team.
Have you heard of the new AI draft going on?
Right. So this is
forced movement of labour into a what is it called? The Applied AI Unit or something like that. It's called.
That has a 1 to 50 ratio of manager to employee.
Right. It's been described by employees working on it as a gulag, which, I have finished reading A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. And, if that's true, guys, that really sucks because that's,
I mean, a gulag that
very
you paid $300,000 to be a part of. So,
sure. But it's apparently monotonous data labeling and model training work. Which is, I guess, what a modern gulag is these days, isn't it? There's not much coal to be dug out anymore.
Yeah. But I sympathise. Of course, I do. Nobody deserves to feel terrible at work at all. But again, what are they what's Meta trying to achieve with all this work on AI? They have their AI specs, and they've recently released some new ones where it's just there's no display or anything. It's just like speakers in the arms, camera, and you can talk to it. And one specific Kylie Jenner themed pair of specs and the AI has Kylie Jenner's voice. So you can speak to Kylie Jenner as your AI assistant all day long. We've got an episode on why.
Why would anyone want that?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I thought I'd want a discount.
True.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This headset's defective. You'll have to speak to Kylie Jenner.
So, we've got another podcast on why I don't think that's the next ubiquitous computing platform. I think it will be a computing platform, but not ubiquitous in the way that they do it. So again, they've got a gulag that they're thrashing their staff through. They're paying loads of money to these startups, and they're thrashing around themselves trying to figure out what to do. For what end, the ubiquitous AI assistant and a pair of smart glasses. And it's arguable whether that will pay off, but we'll wait and see. It's interesting times.
The good news for anyone that's still there is that, as to your point at the start, they do have better snacks that have all been announced alongside a series of other rewards that people are likening to an episode of Severance, which is a great series that me and Duncan have talked about on this podcast before.
Yeah.
So it conjures an image. Was it the waffle party?
Waffle party.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, it really is.
In Meta.
I think Mr. Zuckerberg would slot right in to that, wouldn't he?
Almost potential that's the source material for the writers. We've heard of this thing. It's truly insane.
Joy.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you again for another quick 10-minute episode on something we find interesting. See you later, everyone.
Cheerio.